Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be trying a few new products. I have the new Vanngo foundation. I have the new Kosas powder. I have a new product from Bare Minerals that I haven't seen anyone talk about. This is the 3-in-1 Eye Brightener, kind of like a corrector, I think. So I have that, and I have a few other random things that I've either purchased or gotten in PR weeks ago and just never tried them. Probably don't have a full face of new things, but I figured it would be fun to sit down and try a few new things with you. So that is today's video. If you are new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to stick around and subscribe, but let's just get into the makeup. All right, I've just done my SPF. Today I used the Tatcha one, the Milky Sunscreen. So let's get into the foundation. So this is new from Vanngo, and it's the Red Carpet Skin Luminous Foundation. Now, I have actually already tried this. In fact, I've tried it twice, so this will be my third time using it. And I have some thoughts on it already that we'll get into. This is $46. It comes in 38 shades, and they are marketing this as a medium to full coverage. Based on using this 2 times already, this is very full coverage to me. In fact, when I tried it the first time, I was shocked by the amount of coverage. They also say this is more of a natural finish. At least that's what it says on Sephora. But it also says it will hydrate the skin and naturally blur the skin as well. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's just a plastic bottle. Honestly, I kind of like the packaging. It's very simple. It's very modern looking. It has the red detailing. That's like his signature brand color. And you could easily travel with this. It's pretty small and compact, which I like. It's not bulky. Now, I purchased 2 shades. I purchased shade 2 and shade 4 because I ordered them and I didn't want to get the shade wrong. I didn't even open shade 2 because shade 4 is honestly a little bit light on me. So I know I don't need shade 2. So I will be returning this. And honestly, shade 4 is a little bit lighter than I thought it was going to be. So this stuff is very, very pigmented. And it does say in the description, it's a serum foundation that's very concentrated. I would agree with that. But here's the shade number 4. Kind of blend it out a little bit on my hand. As you'll see, I can definitely make this work, but it is very, or not very, but it's pretty light on me, I would say. And okay, I'm gonna apply this in a different way than I've done it the past few days. So I'm gonna get it worked into the brush and go on the skin this way. So the first day I wore this, I just kind of threw it on my face. In fact, I took the bottle and like went like this, which I never do, but I was kind of in a hurry and I was trying to just come in here and put on a little bit of makeup quickly, and I was shocked at the amount of coverage that I got from such little product. So the second day I wore it, I dotted it on my face like you see me do a lot, and even that was a lot. And I feel like I didn't use that much product. So, and then like this, I feel like I got significantly less coverage by priming the brush with it. So I don't know. I haven't quite figured out the best way to apply this. I'm using this new brush, by the way, from Real Techniques and Kelly Ann Sewell. She's a makeup artist on social media, but she does like celebrities and stuff. She's one of my favorites. But this is one of her new brushes with Real Techniques, and it's really nice. It's called the Everything Cream. So you get a larger end and a smaller end. They're both kind of angled, and they have a little bit of density to them, but not a ton. So that's why I chose this brush. I actually went in with my typical foundation brush the last 2 days, which is the 115 from BK Beauty, and this applied it too heavily for me. So I'm not gonna use that. This has much more like movement to the bristles. So that is why I'm going in with this instead. Okay, so this is applying it much more sheerly, which I'm happy about because like I said, the last few days it was a little bit much for me. All right, so there is a pretty thin layer of it all over, applied kind of sheerly with this brush, and already this looks the best it's looked on me. Yeah, it looks really good right now. So what I will say about this is something I noticed the past 2 days is if you apply quite a bit of this to start, it's kind of hard to get it to blend into the skin. It looks like it's kind of sitting on top of the skin, and if you look up close, you can see it on your skin. So I would think for me, for like an everyday type of product, the only way I would use this is in this way, which is very sheerly, kind of just a very light veil of it all over. So just know if you are not wanting full coverage, I might stay away from this entirely already, just based on first impression, because it is quite pigmented. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna take a little bit more and I'll show you. So like, I mean, I'm not using a lot. This is very thin. If you went in with a ton of this, it looks heavy. So just letting you know, but applied this way, it's looking much better. So I'm gonna blend. I just kind of wanted to build up the coverage a little bit right here, because when I applied like the typical amount of foundation that I usually would, it like completely covered. Like I would say this is even more full coverage than like the new Estee Lauder Double Wear, which we all know Double Wear is known for having a lot of coverage, but oh, this one, it's a lot. But like applying it like this, it looks really nice. Okay, so there it is all over. A few things I want to say about this. Something that he did with this foundation that I love, I'm sure you've probably seen it because people have been talking about it, is he made the undertones of this foundation intentionally more on the neutral side, which I love to see because as we've talked about in so many videos, so many brands get neutral undertones wrong. It's actually incredible to me the number of brands that label shades as neutral and they are not even close to being neutral. They almost always lean golden, yellow, warm. You rarely find a true neutral. This shade, just shade 4 on me, it's a true neutral. So he definitely did that. The other thing I want to say about this is today I'm looking at it and it looks pretty radiant to me on the skin, like not greasy or like it's gonna slip off your face, but it definitely has a little bit of luminosity to it. Like you can definitely see there, but it looks pretty smooth on my skin, like in this area or just on my face in general. It's not emphasizing anything, which can sometimes happen with things that look a little bit more radiant. What's interesting is the last 2 days when I applied this, especially the first day, it looked more matte on me. Today, it looks more of a natural finish, which is what they are claiming this foundation to be. I will say the first day that I used it, I didn't prep my skin like I normally would. Like I said, I was kind of in a hurry. It had been a while since I'd done my skincare and I just kind of threw some on my face. It did not look good like that. It looked heavy. It looked like it was sitting on my skin. It looked very matte. Today it looks more like I think it's intended to look, but I did prep my skin really well today. I did my normal essence, then my vitamin C, then my Tatcha Milky Moisturizer, and then the Tatcha Milky SPF. So I would also say with this one, if you don't want it to look matte and you don't want it to look on the thicker, heavier side, I would definitely hydrate your skin really well beforehand and apply less than you typically would with a foundation. So those are kind of my initial thoughts on it. I'm gonna wear this again today and I'll give some wear notes in the description box, but so far I'm kind of uncertain about how I feel on this one, but those are kind of my initial thoughts. Now, let's get into this. I have also tried this one time. This is from Bare Minerals and this is new. The only reason I even knew that this was out was I typically go on Ulta every Sunday because they put new arrivals on the app every Sunday. So I usually go on there and see what's new. I was scrolling and I saw this. But like I said, I have not seen anyone mention this at all. But this is the Complexion Rescue 3-in-1 Eye Brightener. It's mineral SPF 30, and I have the shade Light. I think it comes in 5 shades. So like I said, I've used it once. So it's a click pen product, which to be honest, are not typically my favorite because they usually make a mess. This one makes a mess. I could already tell after using it one time. Mine actually came and it looked like some of the product had already started to get on the little hairs here. And then when I twisted it, I guess I twisted it too much and I got way too much product. So yeah, the twist up pens are not typically my favorite, but what I will say is this is a really good correcting shade for my skin tone. It pretty much matches my skin, but it's a really good undertone for blue and purple under the eyes. So see, I'm trying to get enough, here we go, out so I can swatch it for you, but I'm trying not to get too much because then it makes a huge mess. But this is shade Light. So this is the second lightest shade. So it's very thin and it's not incredibly like dewy looking when you apply it. Let's just apply it and then I'll talk about it. So I'm gonna do one eye at a time so you can see. So I'm gonna press this in with the A506, but you can see you don't need a lot of it. Like even what I applied just now was probably a little bit too much because it does spread quite a bit. But as you'll see, it's a really nice tone if you need a little bit of correction under the eyes, but you don't have like severely dark under eyes. This is a nice option. It also has SPF, so it's kind of similar to like the Dermatology under eye corrector with SPF or the Color Science one. This is very similar, but I will say this one, I don't know how well you'll be able to tell on the video, but this one, when it goes on the skin, it has, I would say, more of like a soft, natural finish, almost slightly blurred. It's not super dewy and radiant. And I don't know that I would say it's the most hydrating in terms of this type of product. I think like the Dermatology one or even the Color Science one, those leave your under eyes looking a little bit glowier and a little bit dewier. This one has a little bit more of a dry down. This is it on this eye, nothing over here. I really liked this when I used it the other day. So this is my second time using this one. Now, this is obviously not like a darker corrector for me. This would be something where I'm wanting to like match my skin and just correct a little bit. So this is not going to give us full coverage under the eyes in terms of being a corrector. This is more of like a brightener, like they say. But you can see like mine's already making a mess. I didn't twist it anymore either. And you can see it's already kind of like seeping out right there. So the packaging, or the component I should say, not the best, but I actually think this product is nice. And like I said, literally no one is talking about this. It's a nice kind of product to have on hand though for when you just need to throw something under your eyes quickly. You don't want to do a corrector and a concealer and do the whole process. You want like one product that will do a little bit of everything and give you some SPF. This is a nice product for something like that. But like I said, similar to Dermatology, similar to Color Science, I think this one is less expensive though than those two, and it's nice. Yesterday I had this on and I actually thought it wore pretty well. I'm gonna wear it again today obviously, but I actually really liked this. All right, so there it is under both of my eyes. I think this is really nice. I'm pretty impressed with this, to be honest. I think I applied a little bit too much possibly on this side. It looks a little bit heavier on this side. I might apply a little tiny bit of concealer just to kind of blend them together. But honestly, I like that product. I like this more than I thought. Other than the packaging. The packaging, not great. let's move on. Let's do, or actually no, before we move on, let's do a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna just use, I don't have a new concealer other than the Bare Minerals product, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this House Labs concealer. This is just part of my project pan right now, and I'm gonna use this to add just a little bit more coverage. All right, I'm actually gonna flip the brush to the other side, the Everything Cream brush, and this is basically the same brush we use for the foundation. It's just smaller. So I'm using the smaller end to blend that concealer. I will say the shade match on the Vanngo foundation is, it's like a hair too light. It may not come off on camera, but in person it looks just a tiny bit too light. But once we put on bronzer and blush and everything else, it should be fine. So if you're wondering, shade 4 is a pretty spot on shade match for me, if you're wondering. I will also say though, about the foundation, I thought the swatches online, like the arm swatches, looked darker than they are in person. Like this one, shade 4, in the swatch looked a lot darker than it actually is. So I don't know. The shades, I want to say it runs lighter than you think. So maybe that helps. But let's move into bronzer. So I have these that I have never tried. These are from Westman. It's the Suntone Bronzing Drops. This came out, did these come out last summer? I can't remember. These have been out for a while. I never bought them. And then Westman Atelier sent them to me randomly. So I want to try them. This is Soleil Parfait 1, which is the same shade that I have in the Duo that came out this year that I love. But these are the bronzing drops. And I think a lot of people really liked these when they came out. So I kind of want to try them. So this is the shade. It looks like a really nice undertone. It doesn't look incredibly warm. Yes, I'm going to use this 109. I could use that Real Techniques brush again, but I kind of want to keep that just for foundation. So I'm going to use this 109 and apply these on my face. Now I might have applied too little. I don't know. I've never used these, so I'm not sure. I'm not typically like a big bronzing drop person. I don't know why. I typically just always use like a regular cream bronzer. Oh yeah, this shade is so nice. Definitely very similar to the tone of the lighter shade in the Duo from Westman, which I love. Oh yeah, this is a really pretty tone. Very liquidy. Let me get a little bit more for this side of my face. All right, so I'm just tapping this on. Yeah, so these are not like incredibly pigmented, which is fine. I prefer, especially in like a liquid form like this, I definitely prefer something that's a little bit more manageable in terms of the pigment. I bet these would also be really nice to underpaint with, which I don't do all the time, but a liquid like this I feel like might be kind of nice to use for that. Okay, those look so good. So good. Why can Westman do bronzing products so well? They have the face trace stick, which I love. They have the duos, which I love, and they also have the drops. These look so good, so seamless, very smooth. Like, it reminds me a little bit of the Mario bronzing serum, but this is more thin and liquidy. The Mario one blends out kind of like this, but it's a little bit thicker. It's just not that really watery texture. Let's move on. What should we do now? So I also have a new shade of the Westman blush. This was actually sent to me when these drops were sent to me. This is the shade Coquette, which I've tried several of these before. Ooh, this shade is pretty. So that is Coquette right there. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, okay, yeah, let's use some of this. So I have the shade Petal, and I also have the shade Mimi. Petal is more of like a rosy pink, and Mimi is more nude. This is like kind of like a baby doll peachy pink. Ooh, I like this a lot. I've loved this formula for a long time, but this is just a new shade to me. There's another new shade of the Westman blushes that I kind of wanted. In fact, I think it was limited edition. I think it's called Fizz. I think that's the name of it. I think you have to get that one from the Westman website. Anyways, love that color. How have I not purchased this before? I don't know, but thank you to Westman for sending me that. That is such a nice shade for lighter skin tones. All right, let's move into powder now. So Kosas did send over their new Cloud Set Loose Setting Powder. So they have had this powder for probably at least a year, maybe a little bit more than that, but they only had the colored shades, like the color correcting shades or the brightening shades. They have the pink one, which is candy. There's a yellow one, and then I think there might be like a peachy color one. Now they make them in skin tone shades, like the original pressed Cloud Set. So that is what they sent over. And they sent the shade Ultra Sheer Light, which I believe is the lightest one. They also sent this little powder puff, so we might use that. I'm not a huge powder puff person, but they did send it, so we may use that. So this powder, I actually already have in the pink color, the candy color, and I really do like that powder. But I'm actually really happy to see they've come out with skin tone shades because not everybody wants a colored powder, you know? But before we do that, I'm gonna take a little bit of that House Labs concealer and apply that over that corrector that we used. I didn't use very much, just a little bit. I have to say, I've really been enjoying this House Labs concealer. I put it in my project pan because it's on the older side for me, but I've really been enjoying it. I liked it, or I like it, more than I thought that I did originally. And like I said, that Bare Minerals product, I don't think this is necessarily made to layer with concealer. I think this is kind of supposed to be like a lighter makeup day type of product, but I figured since we're doing this and we have a pretty full coverage foundation on, I was just trying to even it out a little bit. Let's do this powder now. What I will say about the Kosas powder is, I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't. This powder is not a super finely milled powder. This has a little bit more thickness to it. On the skin, it doesn't look thick, but it is a thicker texture. So it's not that silky, smooth, fine looking powder. I'm trying to decide if I want to use a puff. I guess we will, since they sent it. I'm not a huge puff person typically, but I guess we'll do it. Okay, so I'm gonna get some on the puff. And then I always like to go like this with puffs on the palm of my hand just to evenly disperse the powder and then go on the skin. So I'm just going to press that in under the eyes and down this side of the nose and the chin. Okay, so I'll just do this side first so you can see. So this side has the powder, this side has nothing. Wow, very, very mattifying and blurring with the puff for sure. Are you a puff person? Or do you like a brush? Let me know. Or do you not like either? Some people, I even see people use sponges sometimes to apply powder. It's interesting what certain people like. Wow, do you see the difference between those two sides? I mean, that smoothed, mattified, like it blurred the pores right there incredibly well, almost to the point where it's too much for me. Let's do a brush on the other side. I'm just not, I don't know what it is. I always kind of feel this way when I use puffs. I always feel like it's a little bit too much. Like I want to mattify, but sometimes the puff almost packs it on so much that it looks unnatural. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to use this brush. So this is the other brush, or one of the other brushes from the Real Techniques collab with Kelly Ann. So this is the Everything Powder. So there's the Everything Cream, which is this one we used earlier, and then the powder. So you get a larger side and a smaller side. But I've really been liking this smaller side for setting the face. I can already tell, I think I definitely like that better. Okay, so that side is with the brush, that side is with the puff. Yeah, so this side looks, I don't know how to even describe it. It looks like completely smooth, matte, like no life. That sounds kind of bad, but you know what I mean? It just takes away everything. This looks a little bit more set, but not all the way, which honestly I prefer, especially for like day to day. Now, if you were going for like full glam, something like that would be great, but yeah, I definitely prefer this side, I think. All right, I just forgot about this. I don't think I've shown you this yet. I do have the new Chantecaille bronzer. So this is not a new product, but this is a new shade that they came out with recently. So this is the shade Soleil, and I might have shown you this in a video. Honestly, I can't remember, but I'm gonna show you again. So that is it there. This is a beautiful tone. If you like something that pulls more neutral, a little bit more red almost, this shade is so pretty. So the Chantecaille bronzers are kind of a gel powder. They are very thin and they give you a sheen for sure, but they're not shimmery. Like there's no glitter or anything, but you can see there's a little bit of like a natural sheen to it. So I am gonna take this, and I'm gonna take the larger end of that powder brush, and I'm just gonna go over those bronzing drops with this. And you'll see it's a really nice tone. If you find that things always look orange on you, this one won't look orange. I've tried the Chantecaille bronzer a few years ago. It was, I think it was the shade Serena, and I think they have Serena still, but Serena is much warmer. This one has more of a reddish tone, which I love personally. Then we're gonna use the new Blonzer from Fara Homidi. I've used this already too. I just can't remember if I've shown it to you yet in a video, but I'm gonna take a little bit of that and add that on top of our blush and our bronzer. This is also a new brush from Real Techniques. Real Techniques just released a bunch of new brushes. This is another one. So this is the Precise blush brush. So it looks just like their standard blush brush, but it's smaller, which is nice because their standard blush brush is actually pretty big. But this is a smaller version and it's actually a really good brush. So I'm taking that bronzer and I'm just gonna go over everything else that we've got going on. I absolutely love this bronzer. If you saw my top 3 in every category, you would have seen I put this in my top 3 powder blushes. Yes, it is brand new, but I'm telling you, like, I love this stuff. The color, everything is perfection for lighter skin tones. Okay, I went ahead and filled in my brows. Now let's just do something on the eyes quickly. I don't really have any new launches or anything, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of my Armani eye tint. This is the 18M shade that's in my project pan. So I'm gonna put that all over, and I'm gonna bring some on the lower lash line also. This is what I do most days on my eyes, is some type of eye tint. Just use whatever's on the brush underneath. And then I'm gonna take that bronzer, the Chantecaille one, and I think I'm just gonna put this in the outer corner and up into the crease. I love the color of this bronzer. So hard to find this undertone, this like reddish tone, or just, I guess just a more neutral, cool leaning bronzer, kind of similar to like the Fara Homidi bronzer in the lightest shade, which is Bois. This is kind of similar to that. I think this one has a little bit more red in it than that one. We could just stop there, or should we put something on top? I saw this in my drawer the other day and I clearly have like forgotten about it. It's from Rabanne. It's one of their mini palettes in Date Night, but I kind of want to use a little bit of this like bronzy color. I don't want it to be too intense. I want just like a little bit. I'm gonna take just a tiny fluffy brush. This is a 211 from BK Beauty. And I'm taking the bronze shade. There is this lighter shade, but I kind of want to use the bronzy one. And I'm just going to kind of press that on the lid right here. This has definitely gotten like buried in my drawer somehow. But I thought this would be a nice top, like topper type of shade to go with this eye. While we're doing this, let's just take a little bit of the lighter shade. And I'm going to put that right in this inner corner. Kind of want a little bit of a soft liner, so I'm going to take my brow pencil. This is what I used to fill in my brows, and I'm just going to do a tiny little flick with that. I've been absolutely in love with doing this lately. I'm even going to take that pencil. This is a brow pencil, by the way. And I'm going to go in this inner part of my eye, like the tear duct, with this. I see a lot of makeup artists doing this step. And it just kind of defines the eyes a little bit more. This is the ABH Perfect Brow Pencil, by the way. And that is really it for the eyes, but let's do some mascara. I really need to clean off my lash curler. Oh, I've gotten a few questions about the lash curler that I'm using right now, and it's the Refer one, but it's the small Refer one. So it's the number 18. I think the larger one is number 20. This one is for smaller eyes, I think. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of this waterproof mascara, the Maybelline Sky High. So I think I mentioned in a video that I've discovered waterproof mascara finally, and I love it because it actually does keep your lashes curled. So everything you've ever heard about waterproof mascara, it is true. The only thing is it is really hard to get off. I mean, I can get mine off with cleansing balm, but then I usually have to kind of go over my eyes one more time with some micellar water, which, you know, is not a huge deal, but definitely not ideal if you're trying to like take your makeup off in a hurry. But it does work if you have trouble with your lashes not holding a curl. This is the Sky High, but it's the black brown color. For some reason, the waterproof shades never include brown. So they don't. Does anyone know of a mascara that is available in waterproof that's brown? I have found a few that are black brown, but none that are brown, like just brown. That kind of stinks. And of course I got it on my nose. Okay, let's do the lips now. I do have one new lipstick I'm going to show you, but I'm going to do one of these Sashu liner stains. I can't talk much while I'm doing this. And this one is the shade Hazel, I'm not sure. Okay, so while we're like waiting for this to dry, I'm going to show you these. So these are, I think, new from Revlon. These are the Revlon Super Lustrous Ultra Cream Lipsticks. They're in really pretty packaging too. It's this really pretty gold shimmer. But these look and feel really nice. So I have the shade Sunkissed and I have this shade Cashmere. They're very pigmented for like a creamy lipstick. So this is Cashmere, this is Sunkissed. So Cashmere is a little bit more neutral, like a neutral nude. Sunkissed is more warm, a little bit more pinky. All right, let's see if this will come off. Sometimes it pulls right off and sometimes it doesn't. Came off, but not the most like even application, but anyways, there's the color. The color is really nice. All right, let's put a little bit of liner over this. I'm gonna take a little bit of Mario and Toasty. Now let's do one of these lipsticks. I'm just trying to decide which one. Let's do Sun Kissed. This one is more of the pink. Yeah, I like that a lot. That is nice. So these are really creamy, but they give a lot of pigment, as you can see. Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot. Let's do a little bit of gloss. Oh no, actually, I have a new gloss. I just realized I just got these from Jane Iredale. They're the High Impact Lip Glaze. I have 3 of them. That one is the shade Armor, which looks really pretty, kind of like a rosy mauvey color. Dusk, that one looks purple. Don't know about that. I don't think we're gonna do that. And then this is Pink Suede. This looks like that. That looks kind of dark too. Maybe we'll use a little bit of Amore. Oh, okay. So yeah, these are almost like an oily feeling gloss with quite a bit of color. That's pretty. No plumping or tingling at all. Rich yet weightless lip glaze wraps lips in reflective shine and cushiony comfort for a luscious high impact look. It looks pretty over that lipstick. One more thing I just forgot that I have that's brand new. I did get this in PR, but it's the new Milani Make It Last Microfine Mist. So it's in like an aerosol can. Let's test it. Oh, okay, it's super fine. Wow, that is like very fine. Microfine is an appropriate name. It says this is a natural finish setting spray to mist, set, and perfect your makeup. Whew, that's strong. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the One Size setting spray, but with a more fine mister. I'm not a huge fan of the mister on the original Milani setting spray. That's a great setting spray, but it's a little bit too thick. Like it kind of sprays too hard at you. That's nice. Have to obviously test that quite a bit to really give a review on it, but I wanted to test it with you. All right, so let's go through these products quickly, starting with the Vanngo foundation. Okay, today this foundation looks really good, like really, really good. But like I said, I think it's a little finicky. I think if you overdo it, it definitely goes downhill quick. It looks very heavy and just kind of like it's sitting on the skin, but applied from the back of my hand on a more fluffy angled brush like this definitely gave me more of a soft application, which looks so much better. So my advice with this one is if you don't like a lot of coverage, I would probably recommend something else, because I think unless you're really careful, you're going to get a lot from this. I don't know how much I will use it for that reason, because I have other formulas that I don't have to really think about how or what brush I use to apply it, and it always looks good. It never looks like too much. This one, I feel like I'd have to really be careful with and prep the skin well. Like I said earlier, I prepped it really well today and it looks 1,000 times better. I think this is going to be for someone that needs more coverage and likes a more full glam look overall. I wouldn't really recommend this for like a natural makeup lover, but I'm going to wear this today again all day long, see what I think. But yeah, I definitely like it the best today, but I'm not like, oh, everybody's going to love this as of right now. The Bare Minerals Corrector. Okay, this I really like. I think this is going to be for the natural makeup lover. We did apply a little bit of that House Labs concealer over the top today, but I do think it looked really nice on its own before we did that. If you just want to throw something under your eyes quickly and you want to add a little bit of coverage, you want to color correct a little, get a little SPF. It's not too radiant looking either, so it has more of a natural looking finish. I really like this. I'll keep testing it, but I think this is a nice everyday light natural makeup product. Westman drops, absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, like I said, I'm late to the party on these, but they are beautiful. If you're into bronzing drops. For me, I don't reach for bronzing drops a ton. I just typically use like a normal cream bronzer, but I have to say they blended in beautifully and they look like one with the skin. It looks different on the skin than a cream bronzer because it looks like a tint, like you've tinted the skin. And I love the color. Number 1, Soleil Parfait 1. Beautiful, not too orange, not too pigmented. I think these are gorgeous. Westman, like I said earlier, they just seem to know how to do bronzing products. The coquette color of this blush, I can't believe I haven't had this shade before. So good for lighter skin tones, like the perfect peachy pink. This may be my new favorite Westman blush. So I've tried these I've used the Westman blushes for years. That was just a new shade. Gorgeous color. The Chantecaille bronzer, love this. Love, love, love. I've used this several times. This is just kind of the first time I'm talking about it, but the shade is impeccable. Very nice, realistic bronze color that doesn't look orange. And the formula on these is gorgeous, I have to say. So this new shade in Soleil, I love. And I love the Fara Homidi Blonzer. These are very expensive, just like the bronzer from Fara Homidi. You can just buy the refill. I bought the compact also, but you can just buy the pan if you don't want the compact. So it makes it a little bit less expensive, but I just love this shade. It is the perfect pinky nude for lighter skin tones. Gives you a little bit of sheen, but not anything too much. I love it. Like I said, I did put this in my top 3 in powder blushes in that video, so you know I'm serious. I think this is stunning. If this is something you think you would use and you don't mind spending the money on it, I think the formula is fantastic. The Kosas powder. I knew I was forgetting something. This is nice. I definitely do. Seeing it side by side now, like 30 minutes after applying this, I still prefer the side with the brush. The puff side looks incredibly smooth. Like it doesn't look heavy, but it looks flat. Does that make sense? This side looks set, but there's a little bit of life to the skin. So yeah, I think this is a nice loose powder. It is not the most finely milled. And I think, you know, there are a lot of great loose powders on the market. I think this is good. It's not anything I've never seen before, but I do like it with a brush for me personally. Nothing else is really new. Oh, other than the Revlon lipsticks, these are gorgeous. If you like a creamy lipstick, you're not into matte, you like something with some moisture and some shine, but you like a lot of pigment, these are gorgeous. These are really nice from Revlon. I'm pretty sure they're new. Oh, and the Milani mist, nice mister. Love that fine micro mist, but I have no clue if this makes a difference or not, but I did like the mister. That is everything we're gonna try today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am gonna wear this makeup as long as I can today, and I will definitely update you in the description. I might even pin a comment on this video if that's easier for you guys to see. I can do that with my thoughts on the foundation specifically, because that's what I want to see today. So I'll leave any thoughts there, but everything I used I will link as always in the description box and in YouTube shopping for you. If you do shop through my links, I do make a commission that supports my channel, so thank you so much for that. And as always, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. We would love to have you here. And if you're not already, make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you. Bye.